Hi, hello, I'm Morgan Wood. Welcome to another video with me, Morgan Wood. Today I'm going to be talking all about makeup accessories, specifically brushes. A lot of people ask me how to start doing makeup, and my immediate advice is just start playing with it. It doesn't matter if you do something wrong, there are no mistakes. However, once you have a feel for it, I suggest investing in some decent brushes and other makeup tools so that you can expand your capabilities and the things that you're able to do with makeup. Today we're going to look at a few of the basic things that I suggest that you might want to invest in order to have the basics covered in order to be able to do drag makeup. So I'll preface this by saying I am not a makeup artist. I'm just a drag performer who learnt everything that they know about makeup from watching YouTube. So I thought I would pay some of that knowledge back. Exactly the kind of brushes and other accessories that you might need will depend on the kind of makeup that you're doing, but my aim here is just to give a broad overview. So before we even consider brushes at all, I actually want to talk about sponges, because if you're using cream foundation, a sponge is a very good tool to have. I don't think it really matters too much the shape of the sponge. I just like big ones because then it's easy to pound your face with it more efficiently. So just a big sponge, maybe two if you're using multiple colors of foundation. And for cream or liquid foundations, a sponge is going to be probably a better idea than a brush as an applicator, just because it makes a smoother finish. It won't leave brush marks. Also, a good tip for using a sponge is to wet it slightly before you use it. So other than that, you might find it nice to have some differently sized sponges. Like I said, I don't really find that the shape of the sponge is so important, but different sizes can be nice for getting more precision or more general coverage. Another useful thing to have beside brushes is a powder puff. These are great for powdering your brows when you're blocking your brows and for setting your foundation in various ways. Something like this, nothing fancy. This one needs washing, maybe a clean one. Okay, now we're really gonna get into the brushes. I'm gonna show you them in roughly the order that I use them when I'm doing my makeup. So I might start with a brush like this to comb my eyebrows, especially when I'm gluing them, to make sure that they're all going in the same direction. If you're not blocking your eyebrows and you're using your real brows, this will still be useful to just get them smoothed out before you start painting over them. Okay, next, a big fluffy brush like this is going to be useful for a lot of things. It's good for brushing off excess powder of all kinds and for blending, but I generally use this one just for brushing off powder. And the exact shape of the brush I don't think matters too much, just something that's fluffy and has loose hairs. Now, a kind of flat-ended brush like this is going to be useful for marrying colors into your face. So for example, when I color correct my beard with an orange, I use this to press the cream into my skin so that when I powder over it, it gets an even finish. This could also be useful for blush, for example, if you want to make a very stylized shape with the blush. Okay, now we're getting into smaller brushes that we'll use mostly for eyeshadow and other contouring. So a kind of flat but still kind of loose brush like this is going to be a really good tool for applying the first color of your eyeshadow, for example. It's a good one for really packing it on when you want a really dense color. Then something like this with a much fluffier, looser end is going to be really good for diffusing those colors, for blending different colors together and blending out blocks of color. Now something like this that's kind of flat but fluffier than the first eyeshadow brush that I showed you is really nice, I find, for contouring my nose, for example, or just blending together colors but in a smaller space. Okay, and a little tiny brush like this with a very flat end is great for precision work. So I use something like this for cutting a crease, for example, or redefining any shape that I've already made that I want to correct, like for example the lining of my lips. So for a cut crease or a correction brush, this is a great option. Now another great tool for precision work is something like this angled brush, something that you can get a really sharp line with. I use this often to sketch out my nose contour or my eyeshadow or my eyeliner shape. I might even use it for correcting the lining of my lips or any other place that I want to make a very sharp line. Okay, now for a few other kinds of basic brushes that could be useful, but which I personally don't use that often. So something like this with a pretty dense but rounded end could be good for blush and also for contouring. I tend to use a smaller brush for those kind of things, but this could be nice if you want to do it more efficiently or just quicker. Now this is a fun kind of brush that I thought would be really cool to have, but which I actually very rarely use. Really, it's just for highlighting, so for highlighting the top of the cheeks or between the eyes, the top of the lip or the chin, but I usually just end up using a small eyeshadow brush for this. Now something like this could be really fun for doing a lot of big, bold colors. It basically has the same function as the big fluffy brush that I showed you at the beginning. It's just not as dense and is therefore maybe better suited for color application rather than brushing off powder. So yeah, of course there are many different kinds of brushes, but those are the ones that I find the most useful and the ones I use most often, and which I would suggest for basic first time playing with makeup kind of brushes. So let me know in the comments, was there any other kind of brush that you definitely always use when doing your makeup, or which you're just curious about? I've been told that I perhaps don't use that many brushes doing my makeup, but I just call that efficiency. So thanks for watching, I hope you found that entertaining, educational or enlightening. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe and comment, perhaps share it with someone who you think could find it useful. And if you don't already, you can follow me on Instagram at Morganwood Callisto, MorganWoodCallisto. Thanks for watching, see you soon!